Hey Aquarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. General reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't. I'm cutting the deck now. And from the bottom of the deck, overall for the reading, we have the Lover's card. What do you love? What calls to you? Decisions might need to be made right now about that. Or maybe it's just a mindset of just understanding that what brings you alive is to be prioritized. What makes you happy, you've incarnated here at this time, that is to be prioritized, that's to be taken seriously, and that's to be listened to. What brings you alive? This is an opportunity to let go of some shoulds, to let go of some heavy obligations, to not people please. The only people you're trying to please is this people right here, right? We're not people pleasing. So making decisions that resonate with you as an individual, and that is more of a priority than, what you were taught to prioritize or what you were taught to value. What do you value? Who do you value? I mean, you should be valuing everybody, right? But we all have to make our own decisions. So something calling to you, something that you love calling to you, there might be a sacrifice involved or something, but it's not like a real sacrifice. It's like a sacrifice of like, oh no, now these people might not approve of me. Like that kind of sacrifice. Like, did you really want the opinion of the people that weren't approving of you anyway? One of the biggest red flags about people is when they don't like me or when they don't approve of me, right? And that's for you too. One of the biggest red flags that we can have is like they don't really like you or approve of you. So that means that you don't need to, cater to their opinion if they're not really on your team and not really on the team of bringing everyone to life and enjoying life, if they're critical. All right, so that's the Lover's card here. We're doing a traditional tarot spread here, and then over on Vimeo, there will be a relationship extra, not necessarily an extended, but a relationship extra, where I do a traditional tarot spread using my crow cards, and we just see what our relationships or potential relationships might be doing, what's the energy there. So, past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Ooh, this 10 of Voices, 10 of Swords is making the rounds. So is this 5 of Materials. Fascinating. All right, in the recent past, we have the Hanged Muse. Something was put on pause. Something was put on a timeout. You were perhaps in the middle of a motion, a middle of a move. And instead of being able to complete it, we have gotten hung up on something. There could be a sense of wanting something, but having either taken a misstep that hung you up, or that you didn't see this coming. It's almost like this, those like we have a lot of rivers here, and then across the river there'll be like a line with like some big orange balls on it, so that like aircraft and stuff like that realizes that there's a power line across the river. It looks like someone forgot to put a big orange ball on this one though, and it has, I feel like you might be a little bit you have been in the past a little bit ensnared in sort of a hang up. Like you didn't see it, and but also if you'd seen it coming, if you'd seen this sort of obstruction or barrier coming, you might have been able to do something about it. It's like you just didn't quite clear the barrier. It's like you almost got away with robbery, but instead you got trapped or you got caught. Like so close to having like finished something or gotten away from something or having completed an action, and now this time with this like hang up or this pause or having been caught in the act of something, and not being able to complete it. It is meant to help you change your perspective. It's meant to change you. It's meant to go into, the Hanged Man goes right into our Tower card, a Tower moment. It's meant to give you a different perspective and then shake you up and shake you out of something. But it seems like in this one, like your higher self is wide awake to the situation, but your current self or your past self was very much asleep to what was going on. I feel like there's this inadvertency around this hang up or this pause or this stagnation. It can often be some part of you has been watching this process unfold, and some other part of you just kind of, it almost feels like you passed out or something, and you like, there was this, you weren't able to complete something because something in your environment hung you up, and then also you sort of passed out, or there's an unconscious element here. And with the Hanged Man, in this one, I just want to like wake you up. You can free yourself, you can move forward, but you have to wake up first. And there is like a part of you, there's a way out of this, but it's going to require you waking up. So that's the past. But then in the current situation, I feel like we have like, this is the wake up gesture that I was trying to do, like wake up. Like there's this sense of, like it's Six of Materials, so it's co-creation. There's definitely a co-creation here, but it's equal give and take. And I was just thinking about equal give and take, and I always think of this in the positive. We talk about this, I was just having a discussion with some people about this card being like a little bit of the Libra card. It's got the justice mentality to it. It is bringing in some balance, give and take, some reciprocation, where maybe in the past you weren't capable of reciprocating because you'd kind of passed out. And you weren't in a mode where you could reciprocate. But now there's like this co-creation, reciprocation, working together. Everyone's bringing in their best, bringing in their dreams. But the Six of Materials, just like having, just the thoughts I was having about it earlier today were about that reciprocation can also be a reciprocation of zero effort, of, you know, you've been asleep at the wheel. That's what you're getting then, is the results of being asleep at the wheel, the results of having passed out at the wheel before you got to your destination, right? But more, this one seems very positive though. Like there might be like good pay for good work. There might be some sort of like efforts paying off, and what you've given, you're now receiving. And so hopefully that was good, what you gave. And so what you're receiving is good and abundant. There is an abundant vibe here, and there is like a reward or a reciprocate. Something's very reciprocal. You're not either doing it on your own, or you're not just giving without receiving at all. So it could be, you know, like the efforts you put in at the early part of this, or whatever hang up or whatever pause we had. And the Hanged Muse doesn't have to be like your fault. It can just be like something happened, you got hung up. It almost looks like she passed out. She was upside down for so long, she kind of passed out. Like, I want to say like the dream sort of died off, or the dream took a nap. Something kind of like, it wasn't moving anyway. So maybe there's a sense of like, this isn't moving anyway, so I might as well, like, I can't move anyway, so I might as well just take a nap while I'm up here, since I can't move anyway. But now we've got like enthusiastic movement, and you're being met with your efforts are being met here. And there's a sense of it's your turn now, or it's if we're taking turns, you have one, or you have opportunity now. And it will meet with your efforts, perhaps efforts that you put in, you know, right? Getting up to this place is quite effortful, as far as like I want to say like a high jump in track or something. Like she put a lot of effort into getting there, but then she got stuck there and kind of passed out. But now we have this like wake up vibe, and the efforts maybe that she put into getting there are now maybe starting to pay off. We also have this, in your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, Muse of Voices. So that's going to be our King of Swords. But this has you working with other people. Again, we're getting this like, dance, play, a similar playing with others, dancing with others. And it's almost like what you want. You're working on what you want. You're get this back and forth, this co-juggling of the fruits of these labors, or the co-juggling here. And so what you're thinking about is, well, muse of voices. This could be a person, this could be you. I feel like this is sort of ambitious. I mean, this was a pretty high jump that you tried to do, a pretty big feat that maybe you tried to do, but you got hung up or it got paused. I keep thinking of like the COVID pause that happened for a lot of people, but that might have been something else for you, but something similar to that, where there was this big, the momentum got cut off for a while. And so that lack of momentum can be very hard to recover from. So then we have the Six of Materials here, this, and then this Muse of Voices. So this is ideas, a goal, being guided by your intuition on this one for sure. Communication, coordination. The Muse of Voices, this is a generous king. They know just what to say. This person that you want to become, this aspirational person, is this is a person who knows, this could be someone you're thinking about though, who knows how to make some smart moves, who is successful, clearly, at the top of their game. Logical but kind. Clear, that's not a juxtaposition with this person. Those two things aren't in opposition to each other. They appear to be in opposition to each other. This king is, this muse is able to look at both sides, is able to be very generous, is able to coordinate and work with others even though they don't see things the exact same way. I want to say there's like a lot of growth here. There's freedom, there's play, there's an ability to play with ideas. And there's a dreamlike quality to this king. And I want to say voices is communication, is maybe you're hoping to communicate with someone. This could be a lawyer that you want to communicate with, a judge that you're looking to communicate with or be really clear with. But this person feels very fair, and you're somehow you're thinking about this, or you're fantasizing about this. This one has such a dreamer quality to it, even though it's supposed to be the most logical one. You know, this could be a writer. This could be someone who is very successful at writing. And with the Six of Materials, it might be like co-writing or working with co-workers. But you want to work with the best, with the top. You don't want to, you know, what you're thinking about is there's like a rushing freedom of ideas here. Smart and creative and intuitive. Masterful. All right, what's at issue here is Five of Materials in reverse. So reverse could mean a couple things here. Five of Materials always has like a choice and a decision to not avail yourself of resources. So this could be not having a choice, not having resources, and it's not your fault. You didn't choose to be excluded. You didn't choose to remove yourself from a situation. You didn't choose to leave anything on the table. This can also be insecurity, and this can be coming out of a time of poverty and insecurity. And maybe you chose it, right? There's a sense where some people do choose, lower income brackets so that they can do what they want, so that they can have more freedom in their life and be less stressed out, less beholden to other people's ideas of schedules and stuff like that. So this could be coming out of a period where your choices impoverished you, or your decisions made you you know, you can still decide something and want something and still feel insecure about the consequences of that, or still feel, you know, not great about it. But it's coming out of a time of insecurity, which this hanged muse would definitely be coming out of a time of insecurity and feeling a lack mentality, feeling like you're not good enough. This situation may have created a mentality where you thought you weren't good enough, when in fact it was that there was this tripwire here running through the universe that caught you up in it. And so that may have made you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to have what I need. So you could be coming out of a mentality where you feel like you're never going to have what you need. Just that lack mentality coming out of that. So either a decision you made previously is now no longer feeling like a decision and feeling like freedom, but feeling like a trap and feeling like you're stuck here. And this is no longer the option that you choose, but you don't know how to get out of it. So that would definitely like fit some of this other stuff here too. Or it could be like leaving a mentality of insecurity behind, a mentality of lack, and there's, you know, or a negative view of things, or feeling left out and starting to feel more part of things, right? This hanged muse would have you feeling left out. So it's either become no longer a choice, or or you're starting to feel included, or maybe even starting to realize that you could include yourself more, or that you belong more than you think you do. And then in your environment, we have the moon card. So that's fascinating. The moon in your environment, we've got the moon here too. And the moon card is going to be intuition versus like paranoia. Intuition versus like, are you intuiting something, or are you imagining something? Is this an intuition or a delusion? The moon may bring up a lot of, like here you're coming out of this like insecurity, but the moon could bring up some things that, things you haven't seen before you're starting to see them and understand them. Things might be being revealed to you, shared with you, either through like intuitive, where you're just like, oh yeah, that's probably what happened. But that's always, intuition's always like a trust but verify thing, right? We never want to be like out just having delusions and just being very convinced that our intuition is correct. I've had that happen to me before, where people have been like, oh, I know what you think and I know what you feel because I'm very intuitive. And in fact, I did not think or feel those things on any way. I mean, I did after that, but before that, it was such a shock that someone thought that I felt or thought that, and then it was like, well, I don't. So we want to be very careful with proclaiming our intuition, or, knowing what other people are thinking or feeling. So that could actually be coming at you as other people telling you something that's more delusional than intuition. There could be information coming to you where you're not sure whether to believe this. It could be a rumor that's going around where you're not sure whether to believe it, whether it's just someone's paranoia that they decided to externalize and spread all over the earth for us, or whether that's like really a truth that this person has like really understands. It reminds me of the internet. It reminds me of like internet rumors, or like, honestly, YouTube and some other things where people just like make shit up and like a bunch of people believe it, and it's so strange to watch. And so there could be something like that, some sort of rumor going around that you hear, or that you it's like, okay, that might be interesting. If it's about a person and it doesn't jive with your experience with that person, it's something to question for sure. But because we can't just be hearing every rumor, believing every rumor anybody wants to bring to us. So that's a little bit of the moon card in the external. Sounds like maybe some rumors, and trying to suss out whether you can believe them or not, whether they match with, current understandings of science, or whether they match with, yeah, so there could be a rumor in your environment going on, or just like cloak and dagger stuff, or like, something's not, there's stuff that you don't know about a situation. And that's what I would approach any kind of rumor with too, is that you don't know everything. So stick with that. If you can know anything about the situation, know that you don't know everything about the situation. And your to-do list is 10 of voices. Allowing something to end, a period of your life, perhaps this, I can't help but notice that these two women are having very similar experiences here. And this is you in the past, and this is you right now. So letting this complete, and maybe you get bonked on your head at the end there, and it's a little bit painful, but allowing that movement that you started to complete. I would also say with this sitting next to this moon card that we could be talking about, like, allowing these fears to end, right? We're ending the fears, allowing these fears perhaps of inadequacy, perhaps this can often be like I can't do that, a self-imposed isolation, a self-imposed exclusion, and allowing this period of your life to end, this hanging out period, this stopped period. Like, sometimes we don't even know why we got stopped on our path, or like why something didn't complete, or why something didn't happen. And it's important to have the skill to be able to let it go. We want to learn the lessons, we want to learn from things, we want to grow from things, but it's also really important to let things go, things that never seem to complete, things that you don't understand why. And this would definitely be like not understanding why, not getting answers from your environment, or from something, about what's going on. This is like, you're moving forward. This is good stuff. This is what's going on right now. So this would be letting go of a past situation, possibly even a past expectation, a past sense of inadequacy, pain, and allowing it to finally be over and to be complete. So you may have been on a healing process that just, like, for whatever reason, maybe you got busy. This looks like getting busy. Maybe you got busy and you weren't able to really finish processing stuff, or maybe something came up and you weren't really able to finish processing. But this is like, you can complete this now. This is over. It's as painful as it's going to be. It's done. And maybe this was a rumor mill about you, but letting it go somehow, right? And those rumor mills, I find them actually, they're painful. I've been through the rumor mill a few times myself. They're painful, but they do a couple really cool things. So if you can see that as a possibility, people that want to believe the worst of you and want to compare that to, and don't want to compare it to their experiences of you and what they know of you and your energy, if they want to do that, if they're eager for that, if they're not going to be able to use their own discernment, you don't really need them in your life anyway. So I consider the rumor mill to be a bit of a cleansing of my friend group, like who actually wasn't rooting for me this whole time and went with the first dumbest, trashiest, weirdest thing they heard about me, and then just decided to do that instead of like, I don't know, I've never seen anything. I mean, there are people that hide stuff, and then there are people, you have to use your own discernment. So anyway, so if it's a rumor mill, it's just about over. You've lost people that weren't really on your side anyway, so that's not a big deal. But this is what's brilliant about this reading here, and we have Jack here. We have these two cards are exactly, when this card is in the upright, it's the exact opposite of this card. So this is where you're going. This is your outcome: abundance, creative abundance, an ability to provide for yourself, to take it. It's almost like a sense of, I want to say, taking back control of your life, taking back control. And that's what's happening, right? It's the opposite card of this. This is the insecurity card, and this is the feeling very secure card. And I think that part of the how we're getting here is we're processing some sort of past grief and past sorrow. We're gonna let that end. We're gonna let that complete. It's over. So this card is really quite an allowing card, where we're allowing the ending. We're allowing, if this rumor causes friendships to end, we're allowing that. we're processing them. This is the final step before the big turnaround. This is like, this is finally over. Let it be finally over. This is what's coming for you. This abundance, this creativity. Jack, did you want to say something? This abundance and this creativity is what's coming. And this, I think it's just letting this like past situation be done, where you didn't have enough, where you didn't feel like you were enough, where you felt inadequate, where you didn't feel like anyone was going to help you. Right now, we've got you co-creating with other people. We've got these cards here, the Six of Pentacles, of you working with others, that the work you've put in can come back into abundance, but you have to do something here. As far as this is a psychological card. It's not like an action oriented card. It's a psychological allowing something to be complete. And there may be some final bits of pain that you need to process and you need to feel all the way, because we're closing out a whole cycle of poverty and insecurity and pain here. We're closing this out. This is done. This is where you're headed. This is a very positive reading. They're not all this positive, right? This time of things not working out. You're waking up from this. You're waking up from this time of things not working out. And this is where you're going. This is what you are. You are abundant. You are able to create. You are secure. You know who you are. You know your relationship to the divine, to the creator. The creator works through you. Spirit works through you. You are a messenger of spirit, of power. And you need to protect your power, yes, but it is there. And it is emerging. And I think you're emerging into a whole new world here. So that is a very exciting reading. Those aren't... Okay, so I'm going to take some of these cards for chiromancy, synchronicity cards. Also, they might add to the storyline we've been working with here. This ending on the Empress, this is powerful. This is very powerful. You know you don't know everything, and yet you are leaving that all behind. It doesn't matter anymore where you've been, what happened. It matters, but it doesn't matter for your future. Your future is totally different. We're ending a painful cycle here. Anything else? All right. Well, we have stag spirit, leadership. So seeing a stag or a deer could be very important, but I also see stag spirit as this, and this is one of my personal guides. So we have the stag spirit leadership, and then we have this king of voices. Maybe this is what you want. And leadership is very much about taking initiative. I want to say, this is a whole different conversation, but I want to say like, it's a feminine leadership. It's grounded in, there's a balance here between these two things, between the receptive and the initiative. And actually, this is what's happening here. There's a balance between receiving and initiating, between the catcher and the receiver. They're playing catch together. They're playing, they're throwing it back and forth. They're throwing these roses back and forth. They are playing catch together. So what we have here is, and then again, there's something so much about partnership here. About balance, right? This king is very balanced. This is one of the most balanced kings as far as the intellect. Yes, we have the intellect. We have the sharp intellect. We have the communication skills. We have all of this. But it's very much, this king is in balance with other forces, with extenuating circumstances. This is a judge that understands the extenuating circumstances. And this I see as two counterpart energies. This could be, we started off with the lovers, with two. Look at all these twos here. Sometimes it takes me so long, I feel like, to catch on to something. We have these two, the lovers, these two, this bounce back and forth, this masculine stag spirit and this very feminine empress. And I feel like what we've entered into here is something of the yin yang, of the masculine and feminine working together. I feel like we've entered a doorway into some sort of unifying principle between these two things. Giving, receiving, giving, oh my goodness. At this late date, are you serious? All right, so here we have some more, I was gonna pull one, but they all wanted to come. Orderly owl, mastery, logic, discernment. Here we have mastery, logic, discernment. Yeah, where did my muse of voices? Muse of voices. And maybe this muse, we have hanged muse, and this is supposed to be hanged man, but hanged muse. And so maybe this muse of voices is like this initiative that you couldn't tap into, but now you're able to tap into it. So orderly owl, solitary watcher of the night, give me a sacred vision in the moonlight. Here's our moonlight, giving me the sacred vision of the moonlight. In the moonlight, seeing intuitively, getting the vision, the overall vision for creating this new world. Kind koala, mindfulness, relaxation, self-care. Sweet spirit dozing in the trees, remove my tension and let me be free. Oh, that's very sweet. Optimistic otter, positivity, imagination, playfulness. There's definitely a playfulness that is coming in here. Playfulness that needs to be present here. Gentle and carefree, nature's spirit. Teach me to enjoy the simple things in life. So removing tension, letting me be free, enjoying simple things in life. Tranquil turtle, endurance, commitment, serenity. Spirit of the great mother goddess, strengthen my connection to the earth. I feel like this is like the stag spirit, this very grounded energy. And then finally, last but not least, earnest elephant, gentleness, temperance, goodwill. This also reminds me of play as well. Pillar of patience and kindness. Bless my heart with your gentle nature. So there's some gentling here too. Earnest, tranquil, optimistic, kind, orderly. All right. If you want to join me over on Vimeo, please do. I do charge a small fee for those videos. It is just to honor the energy exchange that we have going on here. So hope all remains well with you over the next month, and we'll talk later.